Chapter 367, See-Through Senior Sister Apprentice Duanmu. This chapter is updated by novels.pl. Because of the shocking thunder in the sunny sky, all the warriors in Devil Marshall City were nervous, thinking of that there was a powerful enemy coming. All defense strategies were activated at the first opportunity. On one hand, they were worried that there was a 5th level savage beast or even a beast wave coming to attack. On the other hand, they were worried that there were evil masters in the fish dragon realm coming to make trouble in Devil Marshall City. Whether it was a 5th level savage beast or evil masters in the fish dragon realm, they could both cause considerable damage. The various forces in the city were all very careful. If there was any carelessness, there would be a terrible catastrophe in Devil Marshall City. Once a 5th level savage beast from the depth of Omen Ridge intruded in on Devil Marshall City. It caused thousands of casualties and deaths, and it needed the master of the Yuntai suzerain to come to suppress them in time. Otherwise, the casualties would have been even greater. What a great lightning strike. It's definitely not a natural thunderbolt. Did the King of Thunderhawk with the golden crown come to Devil Marshall City? It may not be him. It is said the master of the Hades department has opened the sacred mark of Thunder Evil. The spirit of thunder skill he has practiced also has this strength. All kinds of guesses spread through Devil Marshall City. Although he was the initiator of this incident, Zhang Yuochen seemed very calm. He slightly nodded his head, showing that he was very satisfied with the power of the attack. It was enough on a par with a full blow of a monk in the first change in the fish dragon realm. The legend goes that a spiritual power master could challenge the warriors in the fish dragon realm. It's certainly true, Zhang Yuochen said. When one's spiritual power reached level 40, they would be known as a master of spiritual power. When one's spiritual power reached level 45, they would be known as a half-cent of spiritual power. When one's spiritual power reached above level 50, they would be known as a psychic sage. Spiritual power and martial arts were actually two different roads of practice. For example, as long as the spiritual power of a well-educated scholar who had never practiced martial arts reached level 40, he would become a top master. Of course, spiritual power and martial arts had many things in common, and they could be practiced at the same time. Zhang Yuochen's talent in spiritual power far exceeded his talent in martial arts. However, he did not just practice the spiritual power but chose to practice both. In his last lifetime, he had persisted in practicing both. And in this lifetime, he still persisted in doing the same thing. The advantage of a monk of spiritual power was not obvious before his spiritual power reached level 40. If there were a fight, he would be far less powerful than a warrior. Only when a monk's spiritual power reached level 40 and above could his advantage gradually appear. A young woman's laughter came from below. The sound was as beautiful as the sound of wind chimes. Zhang Yuochen, why are you climbing so high? Aren't you afraid of falling to your death? Hearing the young woman's laughter, Zhang Yuochen lowered his head and took a look. He saw a graceful woman standing in the center of the courtyard. She looked like a teenage girl, but her figure was startling. She had snow-white skin, a long thin neck, plump breasts, slender waist, flat abdomen, and a delicate navel. And below there was How could this happen? At this moment, Zhang Yuochen's eyes were directly staring at Duanmu Xingling. He swallowed slightly. It was like he was seeing something startling. Why does Senior Sister Apprentice Duanmu come to my practice mansion without wearing anything? It did not immediately occur to Zhang Yuochen that he had opened the sky eye and could easily see through Duanmu Xingling's clothes and her close-fitting gauze belly band. The scene was very amazing and romantic, and it was extremely alluring. Probably no man could look away from her even if she was wearing clothes, much less her flawless figure being exposed in front of Zhang Yuochen right now. Of course, the reason that Zhang Yuochen did not look away was not that he had a crush on Duanmu Xingling's body. Actually, he was shocked more than anything else. He was shocked that she came to his practice mansion without wearing anything. Seeing that Zhang Yuochen was staring at her and his expression was becoming hotter and hotter as well as more and more bizarre, Duanmu Xingling blinked her eyes with a smile. She said softly, "It's not so long since we last saw each other. You don't need to look at me like that. Is it that I'm more beautiful than Sister Chen?" Zhang Yuochen finally recognized what had happened. He was very embarrassed and quickly withdrew his sky eye. He looked at Duanmu Xingling again. Everything was normal. Duanmu Xingling wore a silver robe. Her skin looked particularly white with the dress. A green jade belt was attached to her waist with a butterfly-shaped jade pendant hanging from it. It was like she would never grow old and always have the appearance of a teenager. And her figure became more and more perfect and alluring. She was a truly entrancing figure. Suddenly, the beautiful scene appeared again in Zhang Yuochen's mind, which made him feel a little uncomfortable. Duanmu Xingling was very surprised, and her round eyes were open wide. She walked toward Zhang Yuochen and asked, "Zhang Yuochen, what's wrong with you today?" Luckily, Duanmu Xingling did not know the truth. Otherwise, she would not be so calm right now and would definitely force Zhang Yuochen to be responsible for her. Zhang Yuochen coughed dryly to cover his inner embarrassment and he answered, "It's nothing. Maybe I have not recovered from the injury a while ago." Duanmu Xingling had heard about Zhang Yuochen's injury long ago. But Kong Xuan had told her that Zhang Yuochen was secluding to refine himself every time she had come to visit him. It was not until today that she finally saw Zhang Yuochen. Duanmu Xingling asked in a concerned tone, "We will be off to the divine land of Eastern region to attend the Saint Academy's examination in few more days. You have to recover as soon as possible and try hard to get first place, suppressing all the talents in the Eastern region. So the young geniuses in the entire Eastern region will see the elegance of the warriors in our Omen Ridge." Afterward, she took out a nice cold jade casket half a foot long from her storage bracelet and gave it to Zhang Yuochen. She said, "This is a 5th level healing pill of dragon bone. You take and swallow it." Zhang Yuochen refused, saying, "My injury is not urgent." Senior Sister Apprentice Duanmu, you don't have to be so good to me. Zhang Yuochen had already recovered from his injury long ago. He had said that because he was embarrassed. He never thought that Duanmu Xingling would be so warm-hearted. Duanmu Xingling rolled her eyes at Zhang Yuochen. She said, "Sister Chen is not here. As her best sister, I certainly should take good care of you for her." Duanmu Xingling seemed to feel that it was inappropriate for her to say this, so she said again, "Right. You have a fortune of 1 million spiritual crystals. Only a 5th level healing pill is nothing in your eyes." Zhang Yuochen nodded his head with a bitter smile. He quickly took over the jade casket which contained the pill of dragon bone. If he did not, he would possibly offend this senior sister apprentice. Seeing that Zhang Yuochen took the pill, Duanmu Xingling was secretly pleased. She did not know why she was so happy. She seemed to be 10 times happier than getting a pill of dragon bone herself. "You talked about the Saint Academy's examination before. Are you also going to the divine land of Eastern region?" Zhang Yuochen asked. Duanmu Xingling smiled and said, "Of course." The Saint Academy of the School of the Martial Market has cultivated many saints. It has a long history and deep culture. Many young geniuses want to get into the Saint Academy for further study. However, the Saint Academy has a very high threshold, which requires cultivation to at least be in the heaven realm. And there is also a requirement for age. Warriors who can get into the Saint Academy are all top talents. Zhang Yuochen did not worry about the Saint Academy's examination at all. With his strength and talent, he could pass it for sure or even receive exceptional admission. It was not a big problem for Duanmu Xingling either. Recently, Duanmu Xingling had been refining the drop of dragon's blood. Even if Zhang Yuochen did not use the sky eye, he could see that her strength was improved. However, Zhang Yuochen always felt that there was a layer of mysterious fog covering Duanmu Xingling. It was hard to see the real her. Her strength seemed to be not as simple as it looked, and even her body and appearance seemed to not be real either. Though Zhang Yuochen had seen them clearly in the past, Zhang Yuochen had never had this feeling. This feeling did not come until his spiritual power reached the 40th level. Duanmu Xingling's real identity was the Saintess of Heresy. She, carefully chosen by the Saint of the Heresy, was a representative of the younger generation in the Heresy. With her intelligence, even if she was not invincible, she was among the top of her peers. Her true strength was certainly not as simple as Zhang Yuochen had seen. However, she had a seal around her body which had been set by the Pontifex himself. Even the saints with top spiritual power in the school of the martial market could not see through her disguise, let alone Zhang Yuochen. If the heresy were not completely sure, they would not dare to send their saintess to the school of the martial market. Duanmu Xingling wanted to visit concubine Lin and, naturally, Zhang Yuochen took her with him. Duanmu Xingling delivered a carefully prepared gift to concubine Lin in person. It was a spiritual dose called Colorful Begonia, which could prolong life. Concubine Lin liked Duanmu Xingling very much. Seeing her beautiful smile, she felt that the girl was clever and sensible. She pulled Duanmu Xingling over to sit by her side. In the end, she asked Duanmu Xingling to stay and have lunch with her. There was another visitor except Duanmu Xingling who was staying and having lunch. It was the 9th Commandery Princess. 10 days ago, the 9th Commandery Princess had been picked up in the school of the martial market. But Zhang Yuochen had been secluding himself for refining, so he had not seen her until today. After lunch, Duanmu Xingling left. Zhang Yuochen and the 9th Commandery Princess also left concubine Lin's courtyard and arrived at the secret room, where Zhang Yuochen usually practiced. They closed the stone door and opened up the array. Seeing that Zhang Yuochen was very cautious, the 9th Commandery Princess became serious. She guessed that Zhang Yuochen must have an important thing to tell her since he brought her along to the secret room. Zhang Yuochen took out a spiritual crystal of light series and put it on the stone desk to light up the secret room. The 9th Commandery Princess said, "Ninth brother, what on earth is it? Why are you so cautious?" Zhang Yuochen replied, "It's nothing serious. It's just that I will go to the divine land of Eastern region in a few days, and I won't get back to Oman Ridge in a short period of time. So, before I leave here, I want to tell you something, and there are something that I want to give to you." Oh, seeing that Zhang Yuochen was so powerful, the 9th Commandery Princess somehow always felt that she was the little sister and he was the big brother. Zhang Yuochen said seriously, "When a warrior's cultivation reaches the heaven realm, his hearing and vision will be greatly increased. So I can't talk about something or do something outside, in case someone overhears it or sees it. You must remember this from now on. In the martial world, you have to be very careful and cautious. Any careless act will be a disaster.